your channel isn't as established yet, YouTube can't default to just showing your videos to your existing viewers because you might not have that many yet. Instead, the algorithm will show your video to a variety of people. These people may be more likely to click if they connect with the topic that your video is about, which could lead to a higher click-through rate and therefore your video going further in the algorithm.
You've probably started to notice small channels appearing on the home feed of your YouTube page. This is because the algorithm is adapting to give small channels a chance to have their content seen by more people.
Watch time is key. It's the gatekeeper. Publishing longer videos makes it easier to hit the needed watch time metrics.
I've been making videos on YouTube around about 12 years. I've grown 2 channels to over 50,000 subscribers, and I've helped a lot of people in my consultancy do the same. But I learned a lot from the internet. So here are some of the best tips that I've seen around the internet from other YouTube specialists and creators. This is going to be a long one. Sit down, get your popcorn, learn and enjoy.
YouTube is a zero-sum game. Well, almost. It's hard to predict exactly what the YouTube algorithm does, but it does leave clues. Like this passage from a study on how the YouTube algorithm works. Essentially, all of this means that you're not creating content within a vacuum. You're battling head to head with other channels in your niche for the audience's attention. It is a bit of a weird situation, I will admit, but on the YouTube platform, there is an infinite room for creators, but a finite supply of audiences to draw upon. And that may be difficult to accept, but it is the truth. And the creators that accept this fact are the ones that are winning. This is because the YouTube algorithm works on a ranking system. It uses a whole load of data such as click-through rate, watch time, likes, dislikes, comments, shares, and a whole bunch of other signals to determine viewer satisfaction. And that defines the video's value to the audience, which determines what the algorithm does. If your video ranks well against other videos, then the algorithm is going to favor your video. But I know what you're going to say next, and you might as well call this YouTube imposter syndrome. Competing against the big channels in your niche can feel really intimidating because you believe these big channels have got all of the unfair advantages that YouTube bestows on them. But I do have some good news. YouTube does not discriminate. Even if you're a small channel with less than 1,000 subscribers, you can compete with the biggest channels in your niche. For example, you've probably started to notice small channels appearing on the home feed of your YouTube page. This is because the algorithm is adapting to give small channels a chance to have their content seen by more people. Even YouTube's chief algorithm boffin, kind of made that title up, admits to all of this.
We have a team that is specifically focused on this challenge of trying to identify audiences for creators that are just getting started.
Put simply, if you put in the time and effort to make your videos better than your competitors, then you can see your content rise to the top even with a single video, which is exactly what happened to this channel. When the Market Whisperer posted this video, they were at the very bottom of the YouTube pile. 0 views, 0 subscribers. But in less than 6 months, this single video has hit 2 million views, which proves that even if you are literally the smallest channel on YouTube, you can compete with anybody on the platform. But all of this still leaves us with one big question. How do we actually beat the competition? And what specific parts of your video should you focus on? Well, after studying all of these fast-growing channels, I've noticed one common thing that they all focus on, and it's this: next level ideation. One of the best ways to beat the competition in your niche is to simply come up with better video ideas. And how successful channels do this is by recreating viral ideas from similar niches, which is exactly what this channel did. Justical found these videos on YouTube and they were massive outliers for the channels, meaning that they got far more views than typical for those creators. This tool is available on the vidIQ extension, by the way, so make sure to download it as soon as you can. And when you see these outlier videos, they are the perfect type of content to recreate. And so all Justical had to do was duplicate this viral video format. He did this by first finding an interesting story within his own niche. It was a story about the $19 Fortnite card guy. He then used the same viral title format from the original video and came up with this: $19 Fortnite card guy, the meme that ruined its creator. And then lastly, he took this viral title and paired it with a thumbnail format that was also proven to go viral. And you can guess what happened next: another viral video. a 10x outlier that generated over 2.5 million views for the channel. This is why big creators focus so much on ideation. They have a power to create massive outliers for channels that help them grow at an exponential rate.
I've heard you talk about the algorithm follows the audience, but do creators have to think about that as well, like reinvention and updating and trying new formats? Do creators have to follow the audience as well?
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think Shorts is an interesting case study in this space. A lot of creators, they may say like, oh, well, YouTube is pushing Shorts on viewers and YouTube wants Shorts to be more successful than long form. That's not why YouTube has focused on Shorts. YouTube is focused on Shorts because audiences have led us there. They've told us that they want more videos that are more efficient and get to the point faster. They want more entertaining participatory content. And we see them, you know, audiences voting with their behavior of the apps they're using to get that content. And we feel obligated to offer that to the audiences. And we want audiences that want Shorts to be able to find them. But also, if an audience member is happy with long form, we want them, you know, to find that easily as well. So that's an example of YouTube following the audience as the competitive landscape changes. As a creator, I would recognize that there is a lot of attention, some of which is shifting from long form to short form, some of which is new opportunities to recognize that as part of their content strategy. And then within a format, there are also dynamics. There's you know, creators who might say, hey, you know, I've been doing this same content for a couple of years now and it's not performing as well anymore. And sometimes I'll look into, you know, work with them and encourage them to look at their audience tab and see, well, what are some other channels your audience is watching? And we'll find that, oh, there's a new channel that came out in this that's also serving the audience. And, you know, that channel wasn't around 2 years ago. And now you have to recognize that there's a bit of supply and demand going on. And when there's, you know, more supply, you know, with the same amount of demand, you may get less views. And then you got to figure out, well, where is there unserved demand that you can maybe tap into? Or where can you deliver better on the demand that you started with? If creators looked at their content strategy similar to like any small business or business that's trying to figure out, well, you know, how do I maximize my revenue? I think about things like market share and competition and things like that. So those dynamics are very relevant in the YouTube ecosystem as well.
I make a video and then I see someone else has made a video that to me feels really similar, but they get 10 times the views that I get. Or maybe like the topic I see like gets tons and tons of views, but I'm not getting them. When you hear about those kinds of things, what are some things you look at to understand performance?
One of the things that I'll look at and encourage creators to look at on their videos is how did the viewers who saw impressions of the video in the subscriptions feed react? Because that feed, it doesn't have any like special recommendations algorithms. It's pretty much always the people going into the subscriptions feed. You could go into traffic sources, browse features, and then subscriptions. And most of the time when I do that, I find that videos that underperform also underperform when they're shown to subscribers in that feed, which suggests to me that it's some issue with the content or the way the content was packaged. You could also look at the average view duration for that audience. That subscriptions feed offers a bit of a control over other variables that can lead click-through rates to, for example, go down with a broader audience.
I think sometimes too, like when I look at those videos, I see that they're topically or structurally the same, but the feeling I get from them are very different. And that's not always as easy to measure.
Yeah, it's hard to measure, and you know, viewers can be finicky and quirky, and it's sometimes hard to understand why some things are successful when similar things are not. I think this is something that's always been the case with media, even before YouTube.
Finally, one of the biggest YouTube algorithm mysteries has been solved, and things are really starting to heat up, with YouTubers battling it out to see whose watch time metrics will reign supreme. And I'm sure you've seen it. videos about gas station food, thumbnails, shorts, and the fall of Doctor Who. Videos about Prince, and even gameplay videos are all leveraging this recent discovery and driving hundreds of thousands of views. But I need to warn you, what I'm gonna share is so simple that it's stupid. So let's begin by solving a popular YouTube question, one that directly impacts the algorithm and just how many views a video gets or not. How long should my video be? Now, typically a response might be something along the lines of, as long as it needs to be, but no longer. Wrong. The correct answer, between 8 and 30 minutes. Because before you get any significant views, a video needs to gain enough watch time to trigger the algorithm. Watch time is key. It's the gatekeeper. Publishing longer videos makes it easier to hit the needed watch time metrics. Take it from JD in space. Take it from Zach, April, and this guy Tom, who published a 1-hour video essay covering why YouTubers hold the microphone. Now, if you're overwhelmed by the algorithm, well, just do this. Pay attention to latest video performance and strive to improve these two metrics: CTR and average view duration. Can you guess which one of these metrics mrbeast focuses on?
Well, after I upload a video, I just kind of look at the retention chart and just try to see, like, where did I mess up, you know?
Audience retention, which is so similar to average view duration. This is not about padding a video. It's about making better decisions based on the competition and what the YouTube algorithm rewards. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter what you watch, because plenty of viewers on YouTube watch longer videos. And here's why. A series of events have created the perfect storm of opportunity for those YouTubers in the know. And it began in the summer of 2022, when YouTube introduced video podcasts and videos began getting longer. During this time, video essays gained more popularity, and YouTubers began exploring different types of topics, often releasing videos between 1 and 4 hours. Insane. And that, combined with the mass adoption of smart TVs, which already have the YouTube app installed, resulted in viewers watching YouTube from the comfort of their couch. And get this, over half of YouTube viewership happens from a TV screen. Forget the movies, forget Netflix and chill. Let's watch a 3.5-hour podcast. Thing is, viewers are watching longer, but they can only watch as long as your video is. Now, I've developed a specific formula to determine just how long your next video should be. And I do this by leveraging a new YouTube research tool. More on these things in just a bit. But I have to ask, would you be willing to do this? To create a longer video? I mean, YouTube can be so arbitrary, and you're at the mercy of the algorithm. Imagine spending all this time crafting a longer video and it's a dud. You get no views. It's so random, like a coin toss. Tails, you win. Heads, well, sadly, you lose. But what if the reason you've been struggling is you're actually publishing videos that are too short? And by simply going longer, you're able to boost your watch time and get the views you deserve. And these longer videos just aren't driving more views, they're driving staggering views. This is Zach, and he's published some longer videos. Let's take a look at his results. First, we've got this 40-minute Hail Mary Wonder video and this video. Why is YouTube like this? On January 4th, the video had 192,000 views. The following day, the video had 193,000 views, gaining an additional 1,000 views in a single 24-hour period. That's pretty darn good. And then something weird happened. Zach went quiet, and he took a huge gamble.
I was honestly super scared about my last video. I had to take a lot of time off to focus on that documentary, but I'm so happy that I did.
And I would have been scared too. Zach spent more than a month focusing on this 40-minute hero video. Side note, YouTube introduced the term hero video years ago. The idea being to make an outstanding video that people really enjoy, which can greatly increase the time people spend watching and thus the number of views. And here's that 40-minute wonder video. On January 4th, the video had 649,000 views. On January 5th, the video had 699,000 views. That's an additional 50,000 views in a single day. And here's a 13-minute video covering the same subject getting whooped by Zach's video. And here's the good news. There are 2 ways to make these particular videos. If you typically publish 4 videos in a month, well, just publish 3 instead, but make one of them longer. But if you want to dramatically improve the views to your video, well then publish a freak video. Do that by allocating just a bit more time to the planning phase of your video, which is what so many big YouTubers are doing, just like Zach. Now, should you spend an entire month focusing on just one video? Probably not, but I think it makes a lot of sense to analyze where you're at and to try new things, and that's what this video is really all about. And then now and then create a hero video. And this process begins by selecting the right topic, which is absolutely critical to your success. Topics are just as important as thumbnails and titles because you can't get someone to click on a video they're not interested in. Earlier I mentioned a free research tool, and YouTube recently updated their research tool right inside YouTube Studio. And the process begins by really identifying how long your video should be, roughly speaking. Because in order to identify the right topic, you want to pay attention to the competition and you want to have a video length in mind. And the thing you want to do is just pay attention to your average view duration and think of it as like having a high score, striving to always improve that metric. And then either multiply your average view duration by 3 or 4 to give you again that rough indication of how long your video should be. Now, if you can keep viewers watching longer than 3 minutes, well, multiply that average view duration by 3, and that's your target video length.
Take me through, what is this that we're looking at here, Jimmy?
These weren't A/B tests. Some of the first ones are kind of terrible, but it just shows all the different ones we went through until we landed on the one we ended up uploading.
Help me roast the earlier versions, like, because I think for you maybe it's intuitive, like how you got from point A to B. Like, what are some of those most obvious changes?
Well, the top middle one, you know, in theory, your gut would be like, having 6 Lamborghinis looks cool.
Yeah.
But then it's like hard to process it and you can't see it. I'm a big fan of simplicity. Just get it across where they instantly understand it. And so like, to me, one big Lamborghini in the middle, which obviously is what we went with, so much better than like a driveway covered in Lamborghinis, because it's not. It's so much harder to process. I like to just make it where your brain could be off and you don't have to think. You get it, click. You know what I mean?
Totally.
In the real world, obviously 6 Lambos are better than 1, but in a YouTube thumbnail, less is more. And one thing I like to try is to see if my thumbnail passes what I like to call the 18% test. So shrink your Photoshop canvas or whatever you're using to design your thumbnail down to 18%, which helps you identify what a viewer will actually see, especially on mobile. And most times you should have 3 elements or less in your thumbnails, just like mrbeast. So that could be a face car castle or face train pit, or a face money safe, just like Jimmy does. And I say this with love. By looking at it at a smaller scale, you can make better decisions on what to cut, keep, or enlarge.
All right, so you wanna know the one regret that I have about how I grew my YouTube channel? I wish that I would have branched out of my niche sooner. I think it is possible to pivot, right? I've talked about that at length in other videos actually. However, I think it's easier to pivot when you have a smaller audience. This is my theory about how the algorithm works. When you're an established creator, you have an audience that already expects something specific from you. And then maybe you publish a new type of video that's outside of your niche. This video is going to be shown to your existing viewers first, like your subscribers or people that tend to click on your videos on the homepage. YouTube expects that these people will like this video because they've liked your videos in the past. So regardless of the topic, your new upload is going to be shown to them first. If it's something they're not interested in though, they won't click on it, leading to a low click-through rate and therefore your video not being propagated further in the algorithm. Whereas when your channel isn't as established yet, YouTube can't default to just showing your videos to your existing viewers because you might not have that many yet. Instead, the algorithm will show your video to a variety of people. These people may be more likely to click if they connect with the topic that your video is about, which could lead to a higher click-through rate and therefore your video going further in the algorithm. Do you get what I'm saying here? Basically, if you're trying to branch out, your existing audience might be dragging down your click-through rate. In my mind, it's kind of about volume. Like, I feel like if the YouTube algorithm sees 10,000 uninterested subscribers, it's not gonna be weighted as heavily as like 100,000 uninterested subscribers. So basically, the larger the audience, the more risky and difficult a pivot becomes. So if I was starting from scratch, I would use this posting schedule to allow myself to branch out a little bit sooner. I'd post weekly videos, and every other week I'd post something targeted towards search, something more outward focused. Maybe that answers a question or provides a solution to a problem. On alternating weeks, I'd post something more vlog style or more inward focused, something that really highlights my personality and my other interests. That way, ideally from the start, I'm attracting not only subscribers that are interested in the topics that I want to talk about, but also are invested in me as a person. I'll be honest, this will probably lead to slower growth than just going all in on the outward focused videos, but it will provide more longevity to your career and an audience that genuinely cares about you.
Essentially, your title and thumbnail set expectations, and at the very beginning of the video, to minimize drop-off, you want to assure them that those expectations are being met. If you click on a video where, of his, where it's like, Tether is a scam, and then at the very beginning he starts talking about literally anything else, then you are like, oh, this is bull. This isn't what I clicked on. But if at the very start of the video you go, Tether is a scam, and I'm gonna teach you why, then it's like, okay, you match the expectations. So at the very beginning, match the expectations, and then you want to exceed them. So you want to assure people that what they clicked on is what they're getting, and then blow their mind and be like, but you're also getting even more. That's how you lower drop off, which a lot of people, sometimes it takes them like 20 seconds to really meet the expectations. And so you lose, like, that's where you're going to lose everyone. Everyone's videos start like this, and then it levels off. So you want to reduce the amount of people that click off on the audience retention graph. I hope you're popping up graphs while I'm saying this, so it's easier for people to visualize. But so then once you get it to level off, it's just how do you keep it level until the end of the video? And that's where you basically want to remove every dull moment. You probably want to find the 10 most critical people you know, make them watch the video and just roast it. You basically pay people to watch the videos on frame and then just have them record it. And I love just seeing like when they pick up their phones and when they get bored and like, certain things, like if I just talk to a camera for 10 seconds without a cut, like a lot of people will just like get bored or they'll lose interest. So like having a B cam and a C cam, and you can just talk for 10 seconds, but 3 seconds in cutting to a B cam and then a C cam, like now it's more interesting, even though it's essentially the same thing and not that crazy. But you want to have good pacing. Typically having a payoff at the end keeps them, right? Last leave circle wins 10 grand. If there is a low moment halfway through, you're going to watch to the end because you want to see who wins the 10 grand. So having a good payoff at the end